Good morning, Ermonela.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Everything is okay. It was a long period of rehearsals because singing Le Huguenot, this opera from Meyerbeer, which it was so famous in the past, it wasn't performed here for about 23, 24
Oh my God.
years. So it was a really a long time to rehearse with. And yes, I like it. It was a challenge because I never sung Meyerbeer before. And singing that and working with this fantastic team in Paris, in French. So there are certain challenges, but everything okay. It's like my home for every opera singer.
And for how long are you staying here in Paris?
It's about 2 months, so still I have other 2 shows to do, and yeah.
I want to go a bit back in time, and I just want to know what were the key moments in your life that made you say, I want to be a soprano, or I want to be singing in operas.
Yeah, it was, I remember that perfectly, because it was the moment when I decided to dream, or when I decided to become an opera singer, and that's it, it was that. And it was when I was 14 years old in Albania. And it was the first time that I went to see an opera live in Tirana, the only opera house that we have had and have still now. And I didn't have a clue about the opera because as a little child, you listen more pop music, and because my family, they don't come from the music, the musician family. So, and I went there, didn't expect it so much. So, and it was Traviata. And from the first note of the overture, I fall in love, with the first listening, the first heard, if we can say that. And from that moment, with this kind of passion, Mediterranean passion on Balkan, women, I was telling, I'm not going to die if I don't sing once in my life, Violetta. And from that moment, that was my decision. And so far, this moment that we are talking about, I've sung that 250 times. And
yeah, I read that La Traviata, it's one of your most loved, I don't know if you would call it loved characters. Which one do you like the most? Or
it's like, to ask a mother. About for which son you are going to give your life, if we can be really, really dramatic. No, every time there are the roles that, for example, Traviata I dreamt of, and Madame Butterfly also, but they are also Angelica. There are certain roles with this kind of passion, this kind of drama, in talking about the woman's souls. And maybe it comes, I don't know, from the country. When I was growing up, I had the model of those strong women, starting from my mom, from my grandma. So in the difficult times, to see how they loved their families, to be so nice, so sweet, so sensitive, vulnerable, but at the same time so strong to defend, like fighters. They fight for what they love. So, and those are the characteristics that I think, I found maybe unconsciously, or it was something really natural that I found in Traviata and Suor Angelica and Madame Butterfly, and I feel so familiar with this kind of emotion. So it comes natural for me.
Is there any line on the librettos that you say, oh my God, like this is like real me?
For example, in Butterfly, it is especially when she says, un bel di vedremo, when she's waiting for now, no one believes that this love story between Cho-Cho-san and Pinkerton is going to last forever. And actually, it's going to finish, it's going to end, really bad. But she believes, and she has this kind of, light in that tunnel of the, so dark in that she's surrounding. So everyone is telling, no, it's not going to happen, it's going to happen. But she has this kind of hope. And this is, in somehow, I feel myself, because when you start singing, especially when you're coming out, for a country with so much, I'm not saying so much problems, but in that period, Albania, it has a difficult time. And this 18 years old girl coming out from Albania with this dream to become an opera singer, and not everyone believed in that. So everyone is telling, I didn't have a lot of people around me when I left my country to believe that I was going to make it. So, but I did see that light. I'm going to make it. And it's something even around you. You have negative thoughts, maybe, but it's that light. And always in myself, and yes, one day, when I sing Butterfly, one day, I'm going to be that opera singer. And when I sing that role on stage, I'm like, yes, I made it. So
nice.
It feels that kind of, when you believe, when you trust, in your dream, it's a matter of time.
Yeah, when you were in this process of building up your career, and I know that the opera is like a very competitive kind of field, where was someone trying to hinder you from rising to stardom like you are now?
Yeah, to start to become, to reach your dream. Of course, the beginning is always difficult because maybe not everyone believes in you. Yeah. Maybe not everyone likes your singing. Maybe not everyone understands you, and it's normal because you have to find your way how to make your place in this competitive world, And what I've done, it's like I'm giving you an example, like the boat in the middle of ocean, and you have that kind of hole. It's not because the boat sinks because of the water outside. It's because the water comes inside. Yeah. So all those negative thoughts, I tried to keep it outside. Okay. And it was that fire of becoming an opera singer, that dream for me, that it told me, yes, maybe it's not the right time. It will come the time that you have to. And I was so diligent, persistent to try to start to become good, let's say, so no one is going to ignore me anymore, like it happens. So it's very important to keep those negative thoughts, which is part of our life, because we can't love everyone and we can't expect it to be loved from everyone. But to find our dimension, it's very important working hard and to pursue your dream.
Oh, cool. You repeat La Traviata and Madame Butterfly?
It's going to be Traviata here in Paris, Traviata in London.
Yeah.
In London as well, and in Berlin. So there are different Traviatas and different Violettas that I'm going back to, which every time is the first time. Never giving for granted, because, talking about the technical side, it's everything. It's about the muscles, and our body changes every day. And we change every day, the way we approach life. Every day we are different. Exactly is the same with the same opera, the same every single time when you are on stage, because everything changes, even the life experience. So when I see Traviata, just having an example, even singing over 200 times, but every time it's like first and last at that moment. So because always is that kind of vulnerability that it connects with the public, and if we lose that, we are going to lose, the interest about this performance about the opera in general.
I know that for this upcoming season or this ongoing season, are there new productions that may be challenging?
Every single production is challenging, to be honest. Even if you go back to the same production, for the reasons that I told you before, because we change. And but sometimes some of them I know already what is coming from the next season. Some of them I don't know, and I hope. Sometimes I'm more concerned about the production, because, with the whole respect, but there are certain stage directors just to give new ideas, which is it's nice because we have to renown every time, but they go against the story. And if you have a love story, really they are hugging each other, and the composer wrote that they are hugging each other, or he's in her knees, praying, please don't leave me, or just to give an example. And there are certain productions when the stage director is putting you meters away from your lover, let's say, and yes, it can be something in your mind also, platonic love, but in opera, it's everything so strong, emphasizing those feelings, and it has to be direct, immediately, because it's not like, okay, I have in my dream, like, and you leave the public to dream with you. Tomorrow you'll meet your lover. No, it's a story in 3 hours, and you have to give that story in every moment of that this love story, or I don't know the story exactly in that opera, has to be so fast and so connected and so straightforward, for the public to have that kind of connection. And I don't know. Let's see these new productions. I hope they will be okay. So I can't judge right now because I don't know them. But sometimes it could become really, really challenging because you have to go in your world, and even you can't fight with everyone. But at least you think at least the music, no one can touch the music. So in somehow you try to be part of that kind of choice.
Are you looking forward to working with any familiar faces?
Oh, absolutely. Because, being in this business, I don't like to say business, but, in this environment for 25 years, I've seen people coming and leaving.
Oh.
And at the same time, my friends, we are, I'm saying that we are being together, we are becoming older together on stage. So, yes, I'm looking for example, I have to sing Traviata is my Alfredo in Paris. It's going to be Charles Castronovo, which I've sung before. The same Alfredo is going to be in London with Maestro Domingo as Père Germont. And the same for La Rondine. My partner in Berlin, Charles Castronovo, the same. So, but they are, it's... when you come and live, in 25 years in certain opera houses, you see, it's like coming back to see your family. And we see ourselves, after so many years we've done that, and it's like, you're going back to your home. And I see that when I go back to Albania, I see my family.
How often do you go back to Albania? I know you live in New York. But,
I live in New York. I go to Albania twice per year because, of course, part of my soul is there.
Yeah, of course.
Because my roots. But at the same time, now what I learned and thought to reach my dream, I go to Albania to talk and to give certain, let's say, master classes to the young generation, opera singers. So because, with this kind of reality and everything, we are surrounded by beautiful, dramatic news. And the young generation, they don't have anymore that kind of hope. My goodness, it's going to happen because I don't have this, I don't that. But if you want something, really, but your soul needs to want that. It's just a matter of time. Just going. You work hard, and sometimes the energy that you're putting, is going to be held from the energy of the universe. It's something that really you love it. Nothing is life, it's impossible. Nothing. So maybe because it worked for me, and I worked in that way, being, I had a lot of really difficult moments where many times I thought, I'm going to quit. But it couldn't last more than one night because my soul needed that. It wasn't only me, the idea to become a great opera singer, because sometimes you need that kind of big picture, But it was my soul needed that.
Yeah.
And for the music is the language of our souls. And if your soul needs that, no one can stop you. And sometimes even the difficult moments in your life, they can be the key how you to connect with people, to transmit through the singings, through your work, of course, to transmit those kind of emotion, because that kind of vulnerability, it connects with people. And if we stop to have this connection with the public, the opera is not going to exist anymore. That's what I think. And this is that kind of, I'm not saying lesson, but experiences that I have, I love to share with young artists in Albania, and not only, even I started to do master classes in London and other places. But the first thing is this one. Really, you have to love it. Not only the idea. Sometimes we need the idea, because we see now everything is on internet with big pictures, with the filters, and you look, like you are, oh my God, you're coming from the other planet. No, more human you stay, more connection you'll have, especially in this world. And
how do you see in this the future of opera?
The opera, it's this art form, in her purest connection with the human being, because we are singing. Every note comes from every single note. It's a moment of the human soul. We are singing stories, love stories, sacrificing stories, and everything. And the future of the opera, if we will keep emphasizing those feelings with public. But first of all, we have to be really honest as artists. It has to be a mission, And if we keep emphasizing this connection with public, the opera will be forever, will exist with us. If we start to treat it like a business, or to take apart, to clean from the human sensations, to treat it like other business, let's say, it's a matter of time that it's going to stop, and the people will not going to come anymore to the opera. I think, because in this reality we need exactly this connection. Doesn't matter which kind of production, even modern productions or traditional productions. It's not about that. It's about the feelings, human feelings. We need that. We need that kind of. Sometimes we are afraid to express, our vulnerability and our weakness point. But we are human beings. That's the opera. Sometimes, everything is so big, the love is huge, or the sacrifices, or they are dying for because the love is missing, or for a certain, everything is human, and we have to keep the opera in that direction. We'll connect it with the public. The opera will live forever.
Do you think you have a persona around you, and how does that makes you feel?
It makes me feel really good. I have to be honest with you, and somehow, if we go to speak a little more without too much emotion, everyone is trying to sell something, if we can say that, okay? But at the end, I tried, and I'm trying to be true to myself doing this kind of job. And if I'm going to be true to myself, I'll be true to my public. So they will catch something positive more than only the facade. So, and I would like, in everything, I would like to be honest with all my vulnerabilities, weakness, and strongest point. Still, I go back to stay the same word, the same phrase, to connect with them. And if you are true to yourself, you will be true to your public. They will get that. Yeah, that's what I would like. For me, being famous or not, it's good because it makes you feel, important. But at the end, it's not the key point for me.
I mean, do you keep account on how many productions you've performed? But have you managed to master your nerves before you go into the stage?
Oh my God, and the nerves. I controlled that. Never, because, to me, I'm so emotional person, if you can see that. And if you are not nervous anymore, it means that you don't feel anything. You don't feel so sensitive, and if you don't feel that, you are going to bring the same thing on stage. Yeah. So if you don't, and I can say that with one phrase, that if you don't sing with emotion, you are going to be heard without pleasure.
Yeah, that's a good.
So we need that emotion. Sometimes it could be interpreted as a weakness point, and we have that kind of weakness, but that's the connection. And we have to be strong, because on stage we are completely naked. So our soul is completely naked. You can't control. And the public, they detect that. You can have the most beautiful voice in the world, the best technique. Yes, it's in the beginning, wow, chapeau for that too. But after 10, 15 minutes, the public, people, we need something different. And it's the kind of vulnerability. That's why the humanity exists, because every day we are different, every day. So the same thing I thought is my way to think. It's in the singing. But the nerves, after, for example, a long show, I can't sleep at all. I'm so harsh on myself. Why didn't I? Why that not? It went very well. Why? Because I become more detached.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you relax? Do you go to the cinema, or do you just take a shower, or after a performance, or do you just lock yourself up and you listen to music, or?
Actually, I'm not in complete silence.
Okay.
I'm going back. I torture myself because I see myself from the first note to the end.
You're a perfectionist.
I'm trying. The perfection doesn't exist, but I'm, always I need to find something to work with.
To improve on.
To improve, exactly. And to relax, I like to read, but I like to walk, to meditate. The meditation is helping me so much to relax myself. And, but I'm not the kind of person to drink, going to have a drink or shopping or more detached, maybe because I need to recharge my battery and to find, so that's but depends, but for sure, after the performance, with long night, I'm not going to close my eyes at all.
For new audiences, what would you say? Like someone who doesn't know opera for the first time, what would you say that you would like opera, or you might like one of my presentations because?
Like something done very well, and sometimes you don't need to explain that. So, in this case, if someone comes for the first time in the opera, and if that performance was completely heartfelt, no need for the word to explain. You no need words, and so always I think it's very important how the artists on stage they can give that kind of connection with someone coming at the opera from the first time. So it has to be really heartfelt, really honest, and that moment is the soul from the artist is speaking to the soul, to the public. Could be a young person, which it happened when I've seen that, that they be enthusiastic, or to an old person, doesn't matter, So this kind of connection.
See it to feel it.
See it to feel it, absolutely. And if it's not on heartfelt, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm going to go to the movie, or I need to go to do something else. Never again to go back to the opera. So it's in our hands, You have to be really, really.
See it to feel it, yeah. Perfect. And just one last one. Could you do a shout out to yourself? What are you doing? What are your next upcoming shows? And
yes, after Leugono, I'm going to London to have this new recording. The opera is going to be Le Villi, the first opera of Puccini, but the first edition. The first edition, not the edition that we used to. It was shorter that period, with London Symphonic Orchestra and Mark Elder as a conductor. And after that, Traviata, my dream Traviata, Traviata here in Paris, Traviata in London, La Rondine in Berlin, Deutsche Oper, Traviata in Staatsoper. After that, I have Butterflies or Angelica in Munich, 2-3 concerts, and I'm going back to Sydney. And going back to the repertoire of bel canto, which I started when I started singing Anna Bolena. I started, and it's going to be a long period because I will sing every year a new queen from Donizetti, the 3 queens, but every year. So it's going to be, I'm happy for the long schedule, but for me, really, because for me it's a dream every time when I'm on stage, and for me it's my first and last time of my life on stage, and I don't think for tomorrow. I'm happy because it gives you if it can be more simple, a little security, But yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ermonela.